Hello everyone, welcome back to another art time lapse. Today I am doing a DIY Christmas ornament with the theme of a CATMAS tree. That's right, it's a play on words of Christmas tree. That's how I like my puns. So let's get started. Here I have my wooden ornament that I picked up online. You can also pick these up at the local dollar store, I realized afterwards, but they are like pretty light, not super thick. They're around like a 0.5 millimeters in thickness, and they usually come in like packages of like 5 or 10s. So it's really great if you want to do personalized ornaments for friends and family. So here I have my ornament, and I'm using my Posca markers to start drawing the outline for this Christmas tree full of cats that I'm going to be doing. Posca markers are acrylic markers. I specifically chose this medium because I thought it would be really pretty to have like these beautiful colors on the wood itself. I knew I wanted to paint on some wooden ornaments, but I knew that watercolor is not ideal for wooden ornaments because wood is very porous, and if you use watercolor, it's gonna spread and you're not gonna get these beautiful fine lines showing the details of your drawing. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have the same problem with acrylics, but I feel like it's less of a problem. So for me, initially, like I was skeptical about Posca markers because I didn't know how I felt about it, and I already have so much art supplies at home, like so many art supplies, that I didn't want to overcrowd myself. But I'm so glad I invested into a set of markers from Posca. They are actually very reliable and very like easy to use. So one thing I should let you know that is when you get your Posca marker in the beginning, you do have to pump it. So what happens is you just push your pen down with the nib into the pen, and that will like initially pump paint into the nib itself. So if you don't do that a few times in the beginning, like the paint is not gonna dribble out. So for this one, I'm maintaining a very like strict color palette because things that are super colorful, while it's fun to do, I think it looks a little bit more cohesive if you limit yourself in terms of what colors you use. So I'm using like white, gray, and also red for this one. So I've done the outline for all of the kitties that are going to make up this Christmas tree. Then I'm using a red marker to kind of draw in like colorful scarves or ornaments, the star, as well as Christmas hats that the kitties are going to be wearing. So I think that pop of red makes it a little bit more Christmassy and also like makes the piece stand out a little bit. Next, I'm using my gray Posca markers to draw in like different patterns for each of the kitties. Some of them may have patches of gray on their eye, or like they have different patterns on them. And I thought that was one of the fun parts of drawing this Christmas tree full of cats, that you can draw different types of cats. I think next time, if I was to do this again, I may actually consider doing different color cats, or maybe like different types of cats, maybe like a theme for cats as well. What do you think? I think that this will be a great gift for someone who is a Christmas lover and also like a cat lover. So there is a cat lover in your group or your family, this could be a great DIY project that you can do for them. And I welcome you to join me in this YouTube video. You can slow it down and just watch how I paint this from beginning to end. So here I'm using my gray marker to dot in some of the eyes and draw in the mouths as well. It is a little bit harder given that the ornament is actually quite small and the cats themselves are quite small. So I should advise you that if you want to do fine details, it might be a better idea to get a more fine nib marker. So these markers don't just come in one thickness. Some are like larger nibs, some are finer. So the one I'm using, I believe, is 0.9 to 1.3 millimeters, but they have ones that are even finer. So if you plan on doing a little bit more details, I would suggest using a finer nib, or the other choice is to pick up a Sakura jelly roll, which is like an archival ink that you can use for some of those finer details as well. So here, I think that I'm going to use my Sakura jelly roll, as you can see here now, to add in some highlights for the kitties themselves. I think right now the gray makes it look very flat, so if I add a bit of white to highlight different parts of the cats, I think it will stand out a little bit more. Overall, this entire piece for an ornament like this took me around, I would say around 15 to 20 minutes. That's because I already had conceptualized and planned what I plan on drawing, like how I wanted kitties to be like sitting on top of each other. But like if you were to count for all that time in planning, that easily would have gone over a half-hour limit at least. So that's one thing I think a lot of artists don't talk about. Like we talk a lot about like the process of us painting sometimes on YouTube or the final product, and a lot of people are really focused on, oh my gosh, they do such amazing paintings and like looks beautiful, I saw them paint. But like I don't think there is as much recognition for the amount of time that artists spend thinking about the concept, playing around the concept in their head or on a doodle book, and thinking about like how everything, all the elements were going to interact with each other. I don't think there's enough recognition of the time spent on it, because sometimes the conceptualization of the idea takes up more time than the painting itself. And that's something that you can't always account for. And hopefully I will drive that idea home later on, as I'm doing a couple of workshops coming up on how to sell artwork and market your artwork. And part of like selling our artwork is not just about the materials that we use to paint that piece, and also like accounting for the time that we do to paint it, but also to conceptualize and put together those ideas. And I think it's important for us to celebrate the beauty of the artwork, but also like you should feel recognized monetarily if you're going to be selling your artwork, that like the time that you put in is not just the raw time in drawing the artwork itself. And that's a really hard concept, especially for most artists, because we are not usually business people. We don't think about like how we're going to market our artwork, how we're going to like sell it to people. I mean, like a lot of people just like doing art for art's sake because it's a leisure activity, and I get that, and that's something that I still do on a regular basis. But if you're interested in selling artwork and like doing that next step, definitely requires a little bit more effort and time. So I'd love to hear from you guys if you want me to spend more time talking about how I sell my artwork, tips for artists. If you're planning on marketing your artwork, I would love to hear in the comments below. And also, if you like the content on the channel, I appreciate it very much if you consider giving this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for considering. And on to like wrapping up this video of this Christmas ornament. So now I'm using my white marker just to create some shadow and highlights for the writing on the bottom that says Merry CATMAS. I imagine there must be dog lovers out there who would love like an ornament that's based out of dogs as well. So I'm debating if I should do a piece like that, or any other animals you guys would recommend. I'd love to hear from you. From here, I think I'm almost wrapped up for my piece. And then I'm going to give you a closer look at how everything turned out. I do apologize that my hand is in the way for some of this drawing part, which I didn't realize until afterwards because I was so focused on drawing. And I'm still quite new to this like recording myself as I'm drawing thing, because like I do get very self-conscious as I'm videoing myself drawing. It's something I'm still learning to get used to. So going back, white marker again. Like in the future I might do different color cats because I think that will be really fun, but I would highly recommend that you have a general color scheme. Like if you just want a kind of like a soft pastel color set, that will be really nice too. So here I want to show you a closer look at this Merry CATMAS piece, noticing that if I add a little bit of gold archival ink on top, it'll look even more Christmassy. I really like the gold glitter that comes from Sakura jelly rolls, and I think that little sparkle bit, as I'm told by some of my friends, does make the piece look a lot nicer and more Christmassy. And I'm just gonna sign off on the side. So thank you so much for joining me on this DIY Christmas ornament CATMAS tree. I look forward to see you in future video. Take care and stay creative, everyone. Bye for now.